Hey guys, it's Amber. Welcome to a new video, and today we are going to be doing a little bit of drugstore and a little bit of high-end. So when I was looking through my collection to figure out what I could do to kind of do a dupes video, I realized in my declutter, I kind of got rid of a lot of my dupes. So today's video isn't necessarily a dupes video because a true dupe really acts the same in color, texture, formula. It's going to basically perform exactly the same. So today these aren't dupes, this is going to be more of a this or that. Which one would you rather use? I'm going to use a full face of drugstore on this side and a full face of high-end on this side. And we're just going to compare, we're going to talk about the products, we're going to chit chat about it. I'm going to share you my opinions, tell you which individual product that I like better and why. There's going to be some maybe more high-end, some that are going to be more drugstore. So I'm going to be doing this side high-end and this side drugstore. So I'll just share some of my thoughts. We can go over a lot of products, kind of have some mini reviews, and then I'll check back later this evening. I'll show you guys how it wore, give you any final thoughts. I've got a whole box of things in here to play with, so let's just jump in. Alright, so we're just going to start right off with the thing that you probably saw. The biggest in here is the Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca Remix palette. This palette is some people's white whales or whatever it is when you try to find something that you can't find. And unfortunately, people have started price gouging for this. If they have it, they sell them for like $200 or $300 online, which I think is a little crazy, but it's a very collectible piece. You know, it has her artwork on here. It's got some very interesting shades. I was fortunate enough to buy it when it came out, so I just paid the regular, I think it was $65 for this. And so when I saw this Matte for Matte eyeshadow palette in, this is not the right one. So when I saw this e.l.f. Matte for Matte Jewel Pop palette, the first thing that came to my mind is, oh my gosh, is it a dupe for Kat Von D? And a lot of you guys said you were interested in seeing as well, so I went to work, grab my palettes, and so that's right where we're going to start. So when you first look at it, I was totally thinking, oh my gosh, there's so many shades that are going to be the same. But in actuality, it isn't a dupe. I am so sorry. I wish that it was, but there were so many things that weren't dupable. So I will show you the one shade that is dupable, which I'm going to be using today, is this orange shade right here. So here is the orange shade from e.l.f. Pretty good pigmentation. And then you have this shade right here that's called Analog. In my opinion, these are the only two shades in the palette that really resemble each other. But just for fun, I'm going to swatch a few more of these shades to show you the comparison. So you have this really pretty berry, which I really like this shade. And you have this really cool kind of a periwinkle blue, a really awesome green, and a deeper purple. Now I'm not going to swatch the neutrals because neutrals are neutrals. I want to swatch these ones. So in comparison, when I looked at this, I immediately went into this shade Anthem. And when I swatched it, you can see how much more of a, it's not quite as pigmented or as berry as this. And in the same thing, it's too berry to go with this purple. So then you have Echo, and Echo is also a pretty purple. Now this isn't matte, it's kind of a matte with shimmer in it, but that one is super blue, but yet not quite blue enough to be a dupe for this one. But I actually found when I took this color and mixed them together, they were pretty close to the purple shade. But then again, that's me using Kat Von D to more dupe the e.l.f. versus the e.l.f. duping the Kat Von D. So yes, you could get similar looks out of it, but I don't know that it's really something you would desire to do, if that makes sense. So far as green goes, they have this one, which is really cool, kind of blue, hyper ballad. It's just a completely different look. This Lemmy shade is very shimmery. So, I mean, that one you could kind of get maybe a similar look in, but a totally different finish. So the bottom line is because this is a mix of shimmers and mattes, it really does not compare, in my opinion, to the Jewel Pop very much. Yes, you still have bright colors, but honestly, I feel like if anything, like they complement each other, and I feel like you could definitely use them together, but I don't necessarily think that they are interchangeable per se, and that's just my 2 cents. So if you're wanting color, I still feel like this is a good choice because you get a feeling of color, but it's not necessarily going to dupe these shades exactly. Also, if you have this palette already and you want some more bright matte shades, this isn't going to repeat shades. So there you go. Alright, just so I don't have to deal with fallout, I am going to do my eyes first. And I don't have any high-end eyeshadow primers at the moment, so I'm going to be just using some concealer. So on my high-end side, I'm going to be using Tarte Shape Tape. And this is really good for high coverage. This is really good for cutting out a crease. But for me, it is not the best choice for me to use on a daily because when I do, it gives me milia. Now, that's not saying it's going to do that for everyone, but that has just been my experience. So I use this when I want to have a really glam look or something of the sort, but I don't use it on a daily basis for that reason. So on this side, I am using an e.l.f. concealer. This is the Maximum Cover Concealer, and it is in the shade Porcelain. So I've used that just like I would the Shape Tape to kind of blank it out. I don't find that it's as thick as the Tarte, but I do feel like I can get a good coverage, especially like with this one. I'll just put a little bit extra layer on here. And there I go. I have my little Aoa Studios brush switch cleaner. So I'm just going to use this in between my colors so it keeps my brushes dry, but it takes the pigment off. So on this side, just to give myself a base, I'm going to go into this matte shade from the Jewel Pop. And on this side, I'm going to do a little bit of the Strutter and the Molder, kind of. It's a little bit darker, but I'm going to try to make it work just to set it here. I think that worked out okay. Alright, so on my high-end side, I'm going to go into the palette into Analog, and I'm just going to go in and just go for the orange. And into the orange over here. Alright, so my thoughts so far is that the Kat Von D actually had a little more kickback than the e.l.f., but the Kat Von D was easier to blend. So, but I think the color is pretty on. So unfortunately, that's basically all the dupes I have out of this palette. Kind of stinks, but it is what it is. Alright, so next we're going to dive into the Subculture palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is a new palette I have just recently acquired. This was gifted to me through a lovely subscriber also named Amber. I will link her Instagram down below. You guys should check out and follow her. She has a beauty IG. But she was kind enough to gift this to me for some reviews. So I am working on that, which will be coming soon. But on this palette, I was looking at this really cool shade Access and also this gold shade called Adorn. So I'm going to put Adorn on this side. And believe it or not, on my inexpensive side, I'm going to compare the Princessa eyeshadow powder from Shamasay. This is $1. Now this is loose pigment and this is pressed, so they're going to be different. These are not going to be dupes, but I feel like I can get a similar look even though the color isn't exactly the same. So I just went ahead and loaded up my brush with the pigment and applying it to my lid. Alright, so I'm going to take my brush off. I am going to wet it a little just so I don't have Fallout City. I'm going to go into the lid here, pick up some of this powder. Now the color is not quite the same, texture is not quite the same, but if you're wanting a freaking popping gold, I mean, that's like Seen from Outer Space. Alright, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to wet the other brush too and go back into the other one. Trying to keep my eyes closed so I don't get gold all over. Ah, hooded eye problems. Alright, well I wish these guys were exact dupes, but I feel like if you want a really gold shimmery lid and you're on a budget, and that is one of the colors that drew you to the Subculture, then you can get the look for less for $1. I mean, it doesn't get much cheaper than that. Alright, so obviously this side is lighter and brighter, but there's the Subculture that is the Princessa. Like I said, I went through a bunch of shadows, but because I decluttered so many singles, I just didn't have anything that was closer than that. Alright, so for the shade Access, I'm actually going to put that underneath the lash line. So the dupe from this one, I have to be very careful because this came cracked, and this gray shadow has already gotten on my carpet once, so let's really not repeat that. When I was looking at this Holy Smokes palette, I was looking at this green, and I was like, I wonder how close that is to the Access. And it actually is pretty close. So here is the e.l.f. Here is the Subculture. They're not exact dupes, but again, if you were wanting that color out of that palette, this does have it in the Holy Smokes. And it might be something that you already own and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that I had that. Or maybe you're looking at the Holy Smokes palette thinking, oh, I already have Subculture, do I need it? Gonna go underneath the lash line with Access on this side. I realize again I might have to touch this up when I put on my foundation, but alas, I'm going to put it on. So there we are. Let's head into the face. I actually did pretty good as far as fallout went. I don't feel like I totally covered my face in fallout. Alrighty, so let's talk primers. I have the Cover FX Blurring Primer, which I just got in my BoxyCharm, and the NYX Pore Filler. Guys, I love this primer. I love it. Even though it is a similar texture to the NYX, I don't know what it is, but I feel like it is better. I feel like the Cover FX is like a little bit denser, and this one is a little more light and airy. So for me, I don't feel like it fills the pores in as well. I'm going to feel weird all day that this shadow is so much golder than this one. And look at that. Already, look at the creasing, the transfer, not getting over here. So, that's why I do this. Want to show it like it is. I'm not trying to make one look better or worse, just showing it like it is. Okay, so the pore feeler. So I'm going to put that on this side of my face. And Cover FX on this side. I just feel like this one just blurs it so seamlessly. Alright, for foundation, I'm going to keep it light. I'm going to go with the BB cream from Aoa Studios. I mean, you can't get much cheaper than this. It's $1. Sound like a broken record, but I'm going to compare it against the CC Plus cream from IT Cosmetics. I am loving how much my skin has improved for the fact that I can wear lighter foundations, because I actually don't really love super full coverage. I know some people just love wearing full coverage whether they have perfect skin or not. But if I could get away with wearing something lighter, like a long wearing but more natural, medium coverage foundation product, I would love that. Because do you guys remember how drastic it was when I would put foundation on one side and not on the other? Like now, it is not as drastic. I'm shocked. Alright, so the BB cream on this side. And the CC cream is in the shade light. This is in the shade medium. So this again you buy off of Shop Miss A. Alright, so let's jump into some powders. So again, I am trying to start looking into more powders and testing out more powders. I had a request to test out some more powders. So I'm going to be doing more of that in the future. But right now I'm still in the testing phase. So I don't have a pressed powder to test out against this, so I'm going to hope and pray this doesn't make my face look really bad. I do like this powder. Sometimes I can get heavy-handed with these white translucent powders. I've got the Aoa Studios, the Perfect Setting Powder. And I'm gonna I actually started putting on a little bit of powder first before I did the concealer, so I stopped and backed it up. But I think I saved it well. And on this side, I'm going to be using the Pacifica. This is also a translucent powder, but I feel like it does have a little more color to it. And this is their Mineral Neutralizing Mattifier. But it did not have a shade, so... Alright, I'm going to sound like a broken record again. But this is the Tanned Rawr Bronzer from Shop Masay. Mine is a little old, so I've noticed that it's starting to get a little bit of hard pan on it. So I feel like this might be something I'm going to declutter soon and just kind of let it go. If I ever wanted to repurchase it, I totally could because it's only $1. But I haven't been getting as good of look out of this than I used to. But I did kind of scrape the top off, so hopefully I can get a little bit. And on the other side, I'm going to use my Lorac Tantalizer Duo, and I'm going to use the matte bronzer. And this one I just need a tiny bit. You can see it's a lot more pigmented. I mean, literally it was like swish, 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 swish versus tap. So I'm glad I found this at the TJ Maxx because I think this is a good find. I'm going to come back to this highlight in just a second. Now, many of you guys know that I love this Essence Pure Nude highlighter, so I am going to put a little bit of this on. It is just so pretty. I think if you don't have a lot to spend, this is totally worth it. Like, even people that do have a lot to spend still love it. And it's natural. It's not something that is going to make you feel uncomfortable, or a lot of people will say, I love wearing highlighter, but no one around me wears highlighter. So if that's your case, then this is something you can wear out and about and you won't feel too conspicuous. And then I'm going to go into the highlight shade over here, just literally a tap, that's all. I felt like these had pretty similar tones. Again, a more natural highlight. Very soft and pretty. Alright, my blush was really hard. I just went heavy on my blush as far as my declutter, and so I did not have a ton that was duping each other. So I'm going to go with this Mineral Santee Blush. This is overly pigmented, like almost too much. So I'm going to just tap once, and tap off. It does have a little bit of that gold shimmer in it, and then I'm going to go into the shade Fearless. This is from... So my camera stopped recording and I didn't notice it, but this is the Fearless from Real Her Blush Palette, and I am just applying this on to my cheeks in the same way. I picked this because it has the same pinky tone with a little bit of gold shimmer, and after that I just moved on to the brows. Alright, so on this side I'm going to be doing the IT Cosmetics Brow Power. And this is in Universal Taupe, and then I'm comparing it to the e.l.f. Brown Brow Pencil, also in Taupe. I feel like these are pretty comparable, but I feel like this one is a little softer than the IT Cosmetics. The shades were pretty dead on, even compared to some of my other brow products. These two were the most similar, even across other high-end ones. But I do feel like this one's just a little bit darker. Alright, for eyeliner, I'm just going to do a very basic eyeliner. I'm going to use the Essence Gel Waterproof Eyeliner on this side, the drugstore side. And on this side, I'm going to be using my Lancome Drama Liqui pencil. I don't know, I've sharpened it so much, it's in my project pan, I can't quite tell. Now the biggest difference I find between these two pencils is one, I don't believe that this one is waterproof. It is long wearing, but I don't think it's waterproof. And it's a lot softer, it's more smudgy, so if you like to smudge out your liner, this one is a really good choice for that. The essence is a lot harder and just a little easier to work with as far as if you don't want to smudge. That one can be a little more tricky. Alright, so on my high-end side, I'm going to use the Tartiest mascara. Now, I like this mascara, but I don't find it would be anything that I would go out of my way to purchase for the price, because you guys know I love my Essence mascaras. This is the Essence Volume Stylist 18 Hour. I know for those of you who like can't stand the transferring, you're probably like, oh my gosh, let me fix it. Trust me, it is taking everything I have not to fix this, but I just want to be real and just be like, well, this is what it looks like and this is what it does. In some cases, the high-end is definitely going to be better, but for some people who don't have hooded eyes, and that's not a problem, it may not be a deal breaker for them. I'm going to touch up this blue here. Also going to highlight the inner corners of my eyes with the same highlighters, the Lorac and the Essence. Okay, so lips. I have two options for lips. But first, I almost forgot. Okay, so this side I have the Pure lip scrub. And this side I have the e.l.f. Honestly, I like the Pure more than I thought that I would. I was kind of like, meh, it is really good. But the e.l.f. is maybe a little more gritty. Alright, lip gloss. First we have the Huda Beauty Lip Strobe in Snobby. I bought this thinking Huda Beauty was cruelty free. Then I saw someone say that she isn't. So I was like, oh my gosh, I did not mean to purchase this. I thought that she was cruelty free. A lot of like indie brands are. That surprised me. So that was my bad. So here's what that looks like. And then this one, they do have different shades that match a little better. This is Girl Power from Aoa. This is their Diamond Lip Gloss. This one shines a little bit more purple blue. But I know that these each have different colors, so you could probably find one that was more similar. But if you're looking for one of those lip toppers, this one is cruelty free and it's $1. This one I paid, I don't even want to talk about it, probably $20. Alright, and this one, when I swatched on my hand, it did seem to be a dupe. So, I mean, ish. So we're going to go for it. This is the Bite Beauty. So this is the Mouge Bouche Liquefied Lip in Whip. Woo! That was a mouthful. These are the little minis. So I'll include what the full size would be, but this is the mini. Alright, now this is ColourPop Satin Lip in Strip. Look at that. Like, that is maybe the best dupe of the night. With lip colors, you know, you kind of have to have it on or it just looks off, even though we can see what the shadow's doing. Okay, got the creases going on for my ears, but we're just gonna deal. Now this one is going to dry down a little bit more than this side. I feel like this side is, because of the shine, like look at the difference. Like it's making it look a little more plump. My lip looks like uneven now. It's funny how the light can play such tricks. All right, so here is my more affordable side. Here is my high-end side. honestly. I like the Highend better. I'll be honest, I do like Highend better. I do feel like there's products on this side that I feel like are workable, like that BB cream and the powder, but for the overall look, I think Highend wins. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. If you guys have found any awesome dupes, feel free to share them. I'd love to hear more dupes. So I love sharing and learning from each other. That's why I love the comments, is when people say, hey, do you know about this or that? Like, I totally love that. So let me know if you have any awesome dupes, especially for items that are not cruelty free. So I'm always looking for good cruelty free dupes as I'm trying to slowly transition over. Anyway, I will check back at the end of the night, show you guys how this wore. Yeah, I don't think I'm leaving the house with this mismatched. It's not close enough, but I don't think my kids will notice. I feel like this side looks way more orange now. I feel like this side, the gold has overtaken it, and I feel like it's faded. So, and that's the thing with a real true dupe, is it's a color dupe, but is it a quality dupe? And that's where, you know, things get a little crazy. So, all right, until then. Hey guys, so it is 9:45 at night, so this makeup has been on the entire day. So I wanted to show you how everything wore. So I feel like, you know, the blush and the bronzer are pretty well worn off on either side, but I feel like the coverage is decent throughout the day. The eyeshadow's still going. This stayed creased, of course. I didn't fix it. It's faded a little more than this one. This one did start to crease around maybe the 6 to 7 hour mark. I started noticing that it was starting to transfer a little bit up. But the eyeliner, you know, it stayed in my waterline a good decent amount of time. I'd say like 4 to 5 hours, but it wasn't something that lasted there all the entire day. Lip color, you can tell. This color is still on. This color is gone. So the lip color, this I would say was pretty long wearing. I'd say I got a good like 4 to 5 hours of wear until really part of it was gone after lunch, and then after dinner it was just like done. But the sheen does wear down a little bit, but this still has a little bit more pigment, so that is the color pop. Overall, if it looks like I am a wet dog, it's because I literally got caught in the rain. So nothing smudged as far as like water, because I was outside and I did have 2 umbrellas, but it was like a torrential downpour on me, and so I'm looking a little haggard. That's why. So it's kind of a crazy day, but I like that I can still see some vibrancy from the orange there. Now they've kind of evened themselves out, but for the majority of the day this one was creased and this one had not transferred for, like I said, like a good while. So anyway, that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!